Let's talk about Married at First Sight, okay? Married at First Sight. Let me go ahead and put the couples up here because we're about to get into a few things, okay? I know I have not reviewed maybe what the past 2 episodes or something, but I was waiting for more things to start to happen so that we can have things to talk about, all right? Because I feel like the last 2 episodes was dry. We was trying to get through the weddings and stuff, and it just wasn't giving. But now we're getting to a place where the couples get to meet other family members, have a sit down, and then get ready to get this honeymoon started. And did it get started? For sure, according to Elijah One and Miss Lindsay. So let's talk about Lindsay, okay? Lindsay and Mark, right? They're in the room or whatever, kicking back after the wedding, getting to know more about each other. And it seems like they're bonding over the relationships that they have with their moms, okay? Not so great. Lindsay's mom, y'all know she got her issues. She really can't stand her daughter, Haki. So they always back and forth going at it. And when it comes to Mark, y'all know his mom, when his dad passed, she went into a severe depression, not wanting to do anything, go use the bathroom, clean herself up, just not wanting to do anything. So, and he's the only child. So that's a lot of weight and pressure on him as well. But the beautiful thing is what we learned about Miss Lindsay is that Lindsay actually worked with a lot of older patients, and actually she's worked as a nurse in hospice. So it seemed, because she asked the question when she met his family, like, what is it that I can do to like help him with his mom and stuff like that. And as they were talking and telling her things that she could do, she let them know that she's familiar with patients like her. And, she has worked at, the nursing and all that other stuff. So I said, I think that's a great thing. I think that's great, because I don't think it's going to be something that she's going to shy away from. So I feel like she's often in that hospice position as a nurse, often having to give out support to families. So I think she's going to be able to do that with him as well. Now, Lindsay definitely got some extra ways about her. But I think deep down inside, Lindsay she may not be that bad of a person, okay? So we talked about that. And Mark meets Lindsay's friends, and they gave her a survival kit, child. And basically, it came with some snacks, okay? So when she act a little way, give her these snacks. And also, you need to hit this buzzer. They gave him a buzzer that says no, because she need to be told no sometimes, all right? So there's that. Let's get to Elijah One and Katina. So they laid up and they speak about they past sexcapades and they hoeing days in so many words, okay? Later on, we could see where Elijah One goes to link up with her friends. And right out the gate, we could tell that her friend, Jelani, does not like him. Jelani is not necessarily featuring Elijah One. It's like you could tell he's seeing through Elijah One, okay? He asked, like, are you here for the right reasons? Or he brought up something to Elijah One. No, I think they asked him, why did you start this process? And Elijah One was like, well, I wanted to try something different. And so Jelani was just kind of like, you wanted to try something different. And I see, when you do that, like, you could try some food. Like, let me try a different restaurant. Okay, let me try to go a different route. Right. But when it comes to a marriage, that's different. OK, you can't just try this and then next week feel like you don't want to go here no more. Right. So he kind of called him out about that a little bit. And he said, and then this is what Elijah One says. Well, I'm here for the right reasons. That I feel like if I wasn't, based on Katina's past, she's dealt with enough guys to be able to know if I'm on some BS or not. So if you ever feel like I'm on some BS, then call me out, bro. Call me out. But it seemed like Jelani was keeping his foot on Elijah One's neck. Jelani feels as though Elijah One is there for the attention. He don't feel like he may be a good guy, and he may just be there for the attention. But we just gonna see. I don't know. Jelani could have a point. He felt like the responses that Elijah One was given, he just felt like it was a bunch of BS. But at the same time, Elijah One just felt like this brother here don't like me. Okay, I ain't even doing that to him. It seemed like whatever I said, he had some pushback for anything that I had to say to him. So that's what he ended up telling his wife, Katina, like, I don't know if I could be around him because he, it's cool. I'm okay with not being in the same mix as a person that don't really rock with me. You don't ever got to worry about that. I'm A-okay. So we'll see how that's going to play out with Jelani. I need to know the history between Jelani and Katina. Maybe it's just a, straight platonic friendship, and he looks at her as a sister, and just want to look out for her and just make sure, she ain't choose the wrong person. But even if that's the case, she technically did not choose him. All right. They were put together. So there's that. Okay. What else? We get to Steve and Noy. Noy meets with Steve's family, and his dad airs him out to Noy. Daddy tells the girl that he rather go out here and travel instead of working. This is what he says. Noy seems that, but the energy Noy gives off, although the daddy pretty much snitched on him and said that, my son like to be out here traveling instead of actually getting a job and working, right? Noy seems like she just don't take him as he is. So she don't want to be single for real. So whatever it is, she's willing to work on it because she likes him. Okay. Noy is already growing very strong feelings for Steve on the second day. They've only known each other for like 2 days or something. So when Steve and Noy, let me go to before I go to Steve and Noy, right? So let's go to, because I think I wrote them out of order. So Steve meets with Noy's family, right? And they want to know about him being a freelancer. So obviously between the time that Noy spoke with his dad, she must have talked to her brother now. And they came and asked him a lot of questions about him working, right? So they want to know about him freelancing and when is he actually going to go and get a real job? Okay, Sriracha, which is her brother, but also known as, Sriracha, because, when he put his wigs on and stuff like that, that's just what it is, okay? So Sriracha asked about Steve's financial plans for future children. And Steve says people have different expectations out of life, but I never heard his response because Sriracha asks, okay, so then what are your expectations then? What are you expecting to get out of life? And I never heard him clear that up or say anything, right? I think Sriracha ended up asking their mom what she wanted, and she was like, oh, I want grandkids, but in order for us to have grandkids, you're gonna have to get a job and all this other stuff, right? So that was the conversation, but it's like, as far as the plan for the kids in the future, I feel like that's a conversation between Steve and Noy. I don't fault the family for asking and wanting to know because that's their loved one and they want to make sure that she's going to be good, right? Got that. But when Steve and Noy linked up, she asked him about the job thing. And he still isn't focused on getting a full-time job. Y'all know he's a freelancer, right? I think it's going to be a problem for him with people continuing to ask him to go and work in an office that he don't want to work in, like a full-time, being told what to do or anything. I don't think he wants to be in that space anymore because I feel like after the pandemic, it woke up a lot of people. And a lot of people was like, I don't want to be in this space. If I can get it how I live, let me get it how I live. But here's another thing I wanted to add. Work life has changed a lot. There are a lot of work from home jobs. There are a lot of gig work. There are quite a few agencies that focus primarily on like freelance work and contracting jobs. A lot of people don't want to be tied to a company, right? They rather work a contract and run it through their LLC or something. So I don't like how the conversations are happening about him not having a real job because of what y'all think a job is supposed to be. Him being a freelancer, he probably making more money as a freelancer and then being in somebody's office, you know what I'm saying? And being a freelancer affords him the opportunity to travel and work wherever he wants to work. He could be flying out to Hawaii and pulling out his laptop and doing whatever work he needs to do and then having a few meetings, you know what I'm saying? But I do think that if y'all are going to have kids, that probably is going to change things as far as how you travel. So I think they do need to sit down and have that conversation, but it may not be a conversation of, oh, I'm working an 8 to 5, da 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 da. No, it's probably going to be, hey, I got this contract for 6 months paying $100,000, da 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 da. And then the other 6 months of the year, he probably could chill. Okay. And he could probably watch them kids because he done already made 100 racks in 6 months. So I think they need to get abreast and familiar with what the freelance market actually looks like. And a lot of people call it like gig work and stuff like that. But that stuff, pay off for a lot of people depending on what his field is and what he's in. I feel like if you're in the tech industry or something like that, like you always gonna win. I'm not sure exactly what it is he was in. I don't know if he was working for like a tech firm in sales or whatever, but even then it's a net thing for him to learn technology or something and just like, learn a tech trade or whatever. And then he good to go, but I don't know what all he do. He probably making great money. Obviously he is decent enough money now to be traveling. I don't know if he has a home yet because it seems like he's living out of his car, but that's also a weird thing too. Not weird, but it's on the rise. I don't even want to say on the rise. It's not something I'm unfamiliar with because I am familiar with it. I've been seeing it prior to like the pandemic on TikTok where people would build out their vans and stuff like that, and they'll build it out and turn it into like a home that's conducive for them. And that's how they do their stuff, girl. Okay. So if you got that Wi-Fi connection and stuff, and that's how you live in, some people have that lifestyle. But now that he has a wife, that is definitely a conversation that they need to have. But at the same time, like, just don't be sitting up here acting like this man is broke. And also, they just got married 2 days ago. Don't be sitting up here acting like he trying to pop a child out of her in the next few months. Like, that's just not going to happen. So I think they need to sit down, have a conversation, see what he's truly making, and see what the realistic expectations are for their family in the future. And I feel like, even though they didn't show us what Steve had to say about that, I think he's open to definitely having that conversation. He probably didn't want to have that conversation with them and rather much have that conversation with his wife, but also feels like I need to get to know her more because I don't really know her yet to even know if I want to have children with her. So allow me that opportunity. Okay. So there's that with Steve and Noy. Let's get to Jasmina and Michael. They really didn't give us a whole lot this episode. Michael meets Jasmina's family. Her mama made me feel away. I feel like Michael's aura comes off as peaceful and calm. Very, very nice looking man. I don't care what nobody say. Very, very nice looking man. Okay. And I feel like Jasmina, you better get it together. You better open the door for me. You better get it together because Miss Girl, if that man decided he probably gonna peace out on you, honey, you're gonna be sitting up there looking crazy on some dang, I should have realized what it is that I had when I had it or whatever. So I think he's a really good guy. But her mom spoke about being cautious, okay? And she says that Jasmina has experienced a good marriage. And I'm sitting up here like, has experienced. Didn't Jasmina say like the first episode or something that she didn't experience a good marriage because her real parents were never together and her dad went and married her stepmom who also ended up getting a divorce, and the stepmama is the woman that she calls mom because that's the woman that adopted her and took care of her and her sister, but that's not her real mom. But I ain't like that. It's like, don't be acting like you all cautious with this man gonna tell this man that what he's giving off is superficial. I'm like, well, how about maybe that's just who he is? And I mean, but I can't discount how she feels when this process is new for her as a stepmom, and it's only been like 2 days. So it's like, and I feel like it also speaks to her experience with men. I feel like she may not always see the goodness in men. So it's like right out the gate, she's giving him, but not really giving him a benefit of the doubt. It's kind of like all the other guys in Jasmina's life haven't been great. So she's probably got her guard up too, just in case he break her daughter's heart. She gonna be on, on red alert to take care of that, right? He tells her that he didn't have any good examples himself as he grew up, right? And that's what she said. Oh, that's concerning, but I guess it's exciting too. I don't know if he explained to her in more detail why that is. Number one, his parents were never together, okay? But what she does not know is that his mom and his dad are dead. That's what she don't know. I think his dad passed away when he was in high school. His mom turned around and passed away when he was in college. Okay, so all he do got is his sisters and his brother. So I wish that she would have knew that background of it. But majority of his life, he was raised by his grandmama and his mom. And she said, well, that's a bit, that's concerning. I'm like, girl, bye. How about it's concerning for Jasmina or for us to be concerned about Jasmina because Jasmina wasn't raised by her mama nor her daddy. Hello? She was raised by a damn stepmama. She wasn't even raised by her own grandmama. Her mama was never there. Her daddy was there, but decided to leave her ass and go back to Jamaica. And then she begged you to adopt her and her sister, and you did it. So, I mean, girl, which is great. I think that's awesome. But for you to sit up here and try and act like, I don't know, I'm concerned, woe is me, woo, woo, woo. No, ma'am. Okay? We could say the same thing about you because you're not her real mom, period. What else? Let's get to Chris and Alyssa because Alyssa got on my nerves, y'all. Alyssa, baby. So she didn't want to stay the night with him. This is after the wedding, y'all. She did not want to stay the night with him. Now, first of all, Alyssa thing was this. If his teeth is raggedy, I'm out. If his teeth is giving crooked or anything like that, I don't want them. Right. So I do think Alyssa wants this perfect looking guy, but Alyssa, girl, you ain't even a perfect looking girl yourself. Okay. So, and I don't think nothing was that bad about the man's teeth, but I do think it was messed up that the camera people kept zooming in on the man's mouth. I said, well, y'all some trifling folks, huh? Anyway, so I just felt really bad for him because he was really, really excited about getting married to her. just finding his person. So like imagine you coming on this show, Married at First Sight, about to meet somebody, you're excited about all of the possibilities, you weren't able to do it by yourself, now you got experts to help you, and the experts somewhat get it wrong, at least on her end, and then she over there like going off in so many words to the producers, then come to you to talk to you and say how she don't want to sleep in the room with you, and they gave her a whole nother room, and y'all are some good ones producers, because she would have stayed in that room, and the room had like, well, not that room, but the room that they got to at the honeymoon, it had 2 beds. No ma'am, we're not paying for you another room. If you want to come out your pocket and get you another one, that's on you. But girl, this is what we can afford. You've already signed a contract. This is what it is. He ain't gonna harm you. We right here. But so the next morning, Alyssa says that, and this is before they even went to the honeymoon, she says that she was disappointed. Chris says that she wanted to have a talk with him without the cameras. She wanted the cameras to be away, and she wanted to come and have a little conversation with him. Don't talk to me now. You couldn't talk to me when the cameras was around. Don't be trying to hit me up now. But I know he's yearning for something. He wants to know what's wrong with her. She didn't give him all the clues. So he was open to having a sit down and talking to her, right? And she gonna tell him that, we just didn't vibe. But here's the reason why they didn't vibe. Number one, she was never attracted to him from the moment she walked down the aisle. Number two, anytime one of his family members say anything about him, she uses that as an excuse against him to not get closer to him or get to know him or anything. Okay. So they talk again and try to have that same convo that they had off camera. They try to have it on camera. Alyssa doesn't think that they're compatible, but she didn't even give him a chance, saying the way they live their life and the way they think about life is different. And I'm like, how do you even know how he lived his life or what he thinks about his life? Because you've never asked him. You've never had a conversation with him to get to know him. You just heard things by way of other people, and you just made a judgment about this man. So I just feel like that wasn't fair. Then she gonna tell him, I like to take things slow. Let's take things slow. I feel like she said that because let's take things slow because she thought it was going to deter him or something, make him uninterested. And he was like, okay, that's fine. Like, whichever way you want to take it, we could take it. Like, I'm okay with that. Yeah, you could see the discomfort, like, dang, well, that didn't work. Now I got to try something else. Like, that's what it was giving off. Okay. Later on, we could see where Alyssa sits with Chris's family. And she really didn't have no questions for them because she didn't want to sit down with them to begin with. So Alyssa's family, Chris sits with Alyssa's family, and he tells them about her not being interested in him. So that's the first thing. Chris sat with her family, and the mama over here giving him all this fake hope. And then the homegirl's like, that's how Alyssa is, right out the gate. Like, that's how she is when she starts off. I'm like, that's not how she is when she starts off. Why y'all lying? Because Alyssa not going to just be in a situation with somebody she's not interested in. And she's clearly showing us that right now when she says she don't want to sleep in the same room with this man. So what are y'all talking about? That's a lie. This one, if she's not interested in you, she's not going to, talk to you or allow you to get any further into, communication or build a connection with her because she's not interested right out the gate. You see what I'm saying? So, homegirl was sitting up there lying and mama was up there just hopeful. I said, girl, both of y'all ain't nothing. Okay. So, what else we got? Alyssa sits with his family and don't care to ask them anything about Chris. All right. Now, I don't know if this was his friend or his brother that told her that, he works a lot. So it's kind of hard to, because Alyssa said, well, what do you guys do with Chris in your free time or whatever like that? And the brother or somebody said, well, it's hard to do that because he works so much, especially in real estate. He's trying to get listings or whatever. He's trying to sell property. He got a lot of stuff going on. So it's hard. So here she go in the confessional with her fake talking about stuff. Oh my God, you work a lot? Really? So how are you going to have a wife if you're working so much? Like, how is that supposed to? I said, girl, look at you trying to come up with anything you can. Because you ain't attracted. I just wish that if people come on the show and they're not immediately attracted and they're going to start to disconnect and not even give the process a chance, why are they even on the show? Get them both off the show. Get them off the show. Just remove them. But I guess y'all need it for dramatic effects, right? So that we can continue to be watching the show. But I feel like with the other knuckleheads y'all got, that's going to be enough to keep us entertained. But this right here that we're seeing of how Alyssa is treating this man is sadness. Pure sadness. I don't want to see that. Seeing this man having to go sit in this bed by himself at night because he can't sleep late with this lady. Even, you know what I'm saying? Not like he was trying to do that to her. Then when he talks about it in front of the cameras, he put his head down, grab his eyes, like squeeze it between his his eyes where his nose is or whatever. And you could tell he wants to break down and cry because I saw the vein popping out of his forehead. He was so frustrated because this is not the process that he wanted. But of course, he didn't want to cry on camera. But I know when he got in that room by himself, he was hurt. I'm sure. What else? The couples, they get to Puerto Rico because this is where they're going to be at. They get to Puerto Rico and Lindsay and Olajuwon got into it. This is why they got into it, girl. Because y'all know Olajuwon, I believe he got Spanish in him or something like that. So he knows a little bit of Spanish. And Lindsay goes over and say, Olajuwon, hi. So do you know Spanish or whatever like that? And then he says, I mean, I know a little bit, but not all of it. So I'm probably just going to speak English when I get here. And she was telling him, no, you need to speak Spanish because we're in your native land and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, you don't tell me what to do. You don't get to tell me what to do. I am going to speak whatever it is I want to speak. Now, as I discussed this on the Ooh Ladies First panel, and as I'm talking about it now, when I first listened to it, because I went back and we rewatched the show, when I first listened to it, I was thinking that, he probably felt the way about a white woman telling him what it is that he needs to do, right? And then now I'm starting to look at it a little differently. I feel like Olajuwon may have an issue with anybody telling him what to do. I don't know, but something about that, it just it makes me think, I don't know what the conversation was or how rude Lindsay got, because we know that her dad already said that Lindsay can have a mouth on her. But now I feel like he don't want nobody telling him nothing. Okay. Especially, and to add the icing on the cake, the icing happened to be white. All right. So he really didn't like that. But it just makes me think that, you know what? I think he just didn't like being told what to do, regardless of who it was. Because even when he sat down with his wife, Katina, after this argument, and he was telling her, like, I appreciate you having my back and stuff. And she started talking about the argument. He tells her, well, let's not talk about that. Like, let's change our tune. And I'm like, the only reason why she's talking about it is because you bring it up. Now you try to tell her to shift her. And I'm like, okay, I see your game here, Olajuwon. I see your game. And what I've learned is that you don't like to listen to people too much. Okay, you like to move to the beat of your own drum and do whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, so that's what that is. I feel like with the Lindsay situation, it probably wouldn't matter who said it to him. He probably was gonna get mad. I was thinking it probably could have been like, a race thing, but nah, I think that's just what it is. Okay, so there's that. And then trying to hush his wife up and tell her not to talk about it. Let's talk about this or that. She only talking about it because you talking about it. But anyway, so let me see what else. I noticed something. Alyssa seemed to be wherever wherever Michael was, I noticed Alyssa was. And you know what? Let me put this up if you guys can see it. Okay. If you look on this picture here, right above Michael, I see Alyssa. Now, I don't know if this was actually a group photo and everybody got together to take this, or if they pieced these people together in the image, how they do with housewives, right? But when they went to the water, when they first got to Puerto Rico and they stood on the bricks, who did I see? Alyssa standing next to Michael. When they go and they sit down in the at the table outside, and it's Jasmina, Michael, Alyssa, and then you got Chris over here. She was more closer to Michael than she was to Chris. I noticed that. I said, girl, what is this giving? Did you want a black man? If that's what you wanted, you should have said it. Girl, I don't know what no. Is that what you mean when you said tall, dark, and handsome, or whatever you was looking for, girl? I guess, but that's Jasmina's husband. So let us not be in another situation like Zach and Bow from last season. Don't give us that, okay? But we see you, girl. We see you, Miss Alyssa. Let's keep going. All right. So Mark talks with everybody because after the argument got heated, we never got to see the argument. We only heard what was said about it. Mark comes outside. He apologizes on behalf of his wife. Olajuwon is cool and everything, but Katina is like, listen, I appreciate your apology or whatever, big dog, but don't have your wife around me. Okay. Because I'm not going to be able to tolerate her for a long period of time. I can't even fault Katina on that because like I said, Lindsay can be a bit too much. All right. So there's that. Okay. Michael and Jasmina. So they talk about, the issues that happened earlier with Lindsay and Olajuwon. Then they get to a conversation talking about conflict within the marriage. And Jasmina, when he was talking, Jasmina says, well, we can agree to disagree. He was like, what? You don't think we'll have conflict in our marriage? She said, no, I don't think we'll have conflict in our marriage because I don't sit around and think about conflict and think that it's ever going to arise in our marriage. And so he like, okay, I didn't think about getting no ticket, but I got one. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, it's just some things that's like, let's be a realist. It happens. We're going to have disagreements. And in that moment, it made me go back to when Jasmina said that about her last relationship. She said that, oh, it was long distance or whatever, but we broke up because he didn't want to argue with me or something like that. He said, oh, you don't have to worry about that here or something. That's what it said. I think she said he wouldn't argue with her. So that's what it was giving me in that moment. You say that you don't predict any conflict to happen within your marriage, but you're also a person that likes to argue. So I don't... Somebody explain that part for me because it wasn't adding up for me. Maybe I misunderstood it. Okay. So when she said whatever she said to him about agree to disagree and that if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But I don't sit around and just, wait for conflict to happen and all this other stuff. Right. So she ends up getting up and going and getting in the shower. And I could tell Michael was like, what the hell just happened? I hope this ain't how it's going to be for the rest of the marriage. So now he is at a place where he like, can I really do this? Think about it, brother. Think about it, okay? So we get to Alyssa. We in Puerto Rico. Alyssa still don't want to stay in a room. Still don't want to stay in a room with the man. So after going back and forth, he finally lets her just have the room. But they did have a conversation where he called her out for being a liar. So Chris calls her out about tapping out and not wanting to address things on camera or even willing to put in that effort, okay? He tells her that he thinks she is expecting a perfect person. When he said this, do you know she got upset about it? I said, girl, you was just searching for something to get upset about. She tells him that she doesn't want a perfect person, but she feels gypped. And then tells him, I feel gypped, you feel gypped. I said, how you gonna tell this man how he feel? Okay, see, now you over here, you definitely gaslighting and you over here manipulating at the same time, girl. You got a lot going on. So then she says that she has put in an effort and then tells, she says that she has put in an effort. And then she said, do you think I'm lying? And he says, yeah, you are lying. Oh, she made a big deal. I don't want to talk anymore. He sat up here and said that I was a liar. Like, are you serious? Because you are. Like, what the girl, what is going on? Like, just coming up with everything. And then she says that, she said, I'm a nice person. Just be nice to me. And I said, ma'am, you have not been nice this entire time. This man has been showing you patience and he's the one that's been nice. But now you're over here playing like you're the victim. I couldn't do it. Bye, Alyssa. Bye, girl. Okay. Then she gonna tell him, I don't like that you went and you told my mom and my friend or my sister, whoever it was that was with you, went and told them, that what was happening on our wedding night and what I said. And I really don't appreciate that because I would have never did it to you. Yeah, you know why you don't like that, Alyssa? It's because you are a person that's looking for somebody that's perfect and you are all about image. And you wanted them to think, even though you weren't happy, at the time, you probably was just telling your mama and your homegirls like, oh, it's all good. It's fine. It's okay. But knowing deep down inside, you really, really weren't happy. And you didn't want him to go back and tell them that. Yikes. But that's all I got, honey. Y'all go ahead and hop down in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about Married at First Sight, girl.